Why does he have 3 laptops on his table? That's a good question. It's been kind of a long week. Okay, this is the HP G1A. This is still the most badass laptop you can get. 128 gigs of memory, Strix Halo in a laptop. Like, it's bananas. But the reason it's out is because I'm using it to help fix the other 2. This is the Framework Pro 13. I'm working on some driver updates and some quality of life improvements from a coding standpoint. Not ready to release that yet. And this is the Chewy. This is the Core 3. This is 304. This is a laptop that is $600. When Chewy announced it, originally it was going to be, I think, what was it, $449. But, you know, yeah, it's 8 gigs of memory and 256 gigs of storage. It's a cheap laptop. I've got a full review coming. But because it's Wildcat Lake, Intel Wildcat Lake, the audio wasn't working. So there's a thread on the forum where I've backported the working audio from kernel 7.2 to kernel 7.1. And by working audio on kernel 7.2, they really mean that they've done 95% of the work, but you're still going to have to configure the audio in Etsy, and you're going to have to label things reasonably, which I have done for you on the forum. Woo! I also published a DKMS version of the driver to GitHub, although if you're in kernel 6 and you get this laptop, not going to work. What's really exciting about this laptop, and you'll have to watch the full review, is that it's 1 performance core. Gone are the days of Atom and like the N100 and the N150 and the N300, where it's just all E-cores. You get 1 performance core and 4 pretty anemic low-power E-cores, the LP E-cores. Not the new, good, awesome E-cores, the less new-ish, less awesome E-cores that are low power. But this is still an astonishingly good laptop. And if I think about all of the stuff that we enjoyed with like the N100 and the N150, like the $100 micro ATX motherboards, if I could get this CPU and a $100 motherboard for like low power home lab stuff, that would be amazing. This thing is like 5 watts at the wall when it's idle, and it's like 15 watts when it's just in its most pissed off mode possible. So anyway, watch for the review for that. But that's what I've been working on this week that is more or less complete. Second big update, Looking Glass, lookingglass.io. You should check that out because it is now feature complete for your fantasy wish list of everything. For those of you that haven't been following the channel for years, Looking Glass was the solution for Linux where you have 2 GPUs. You can have your iGPU or another dGPU, and then the second dGPU that you pass through to Windows. And in the beginning, you would have a dummy plug or another monitor connected, and it would forward your Windows display to your host. Gone are all of those days. You no longer need a dummy plug. You no longer need anything special. There's an indirect display driver, which is signed and an official Windows driver. You can do 5120 by 1440 at 120 FPS with less than 1 millisecond of display latency. Like the time that it takes to do the frame buffer copy from the GPU to the host, less than a millisecond. It's fantastic. So also HDR support. Jeff has done a Herculean amount of effort because he's had some time to work on these things. Sorry, Jeff. But it's amazing. And so you should maybe toss a couple bucks his way if you're into Looking Glass. But like, check out Looking Glass and all of the stuff that goes with Looking Glass. And it is like kind of legit bananas awesome. It's there. It's really amazing. Also, I want to call attention to Rui Carmo. I think that's how you say his name. R-U-I, Carmo. Some of his projects on GitHub. You should check those out. One of them is Remote Desktop for Linux. Not a client, an implementation on top of Wayland. That is what it promises to be what Remote Desktop should have been all along. I'm sorry, GNOME is just like, you can only Remote Desktop into GNOME if you are already logged in. Okay. And then there's XRDP where it's like, oh, you can remote desktop into another different session than the one you're logged into. We really need a charismatic, energetic leader to emerge and tell us what good taste is. Apologies. Also, he's been working on some agentic client fun stuff to go with that. So you should check out his other projects. I've been working on He has a lot of repositories. He has a lot of hobbies. PyClaw stuff. I'm not. You should read his blog because the blog has some really excellent posts. I should link some of those below or have them be in the forum thread. The other big news this week is Ryzen AI Halo. I'm just a week back from the Advancing AI event, and a couple things from that flew under everybody's radar. One, the CUDA moat for software. Well, that's getting ready to go away. And I say that somewhat facetiously because the AI models have gotten so good and so sophisticated and such low token cost that if you have a super optimized thing that is CUDA only, you can basically turn an autonomous agent loose. See also the coding agents we have from Mr. Carmo and others, Turnstone, and just say, hey, this thing, I need it to be rocking, and it'll do it. It does help if you have skills. If you import skills into your harness, like a couple hundred of them, couple thousand of them. Saw a funny this week. It's related to that, which is somebody took the history of Linus Torvalds' email and encouragement, and let's call it a helpful programming hints. Some of those angry replies on email, and turned it into a skill that you can import into your agent to learn Linus Torvalds' coding preferences as you prepare your tarballs and mailings for the Linux kernel mailing list. If it were me, I would have split that one skill into 15 or 20 sub-skills. I think that'll be more effective. But, hey, you do you. So that's a lot of fun. Anyway, the Ryzen AI Halo thing, USB 4, Thunderbolt by another name, DMA transfers over USB 4 20 gigabit. This is basically almost working. Thunderbolt networking is fully up and ready. There's a how-to guide for that on the forum. My Strix Halo NAS has a Ryzen AI Strix Halo hat, and I have a cluster where the AI tasks are running on AI Halo, and my virtual machines are running on the N5, but it is highly available. The VMs are mirrored between the two systems, or at least the critical VMs. The media VMs and everything on mechanical storage is only on the N5 because of the mechanical storage. If you aren't familiar with the N5, I did a video on that. It's Strix Halo in a NAS, which is insane. Like, that's just, what an absurd combination. And yet, oddly compelling for a home server that's running Home Assistant and that you can just talk to. It really does feel like you're living with Star Trek, and that's a lot of fun. And that brings me to the next thing that I'm going to be working on, that I just got started on, and that is it is the 10th anniversary of Tai Chi. And so ASRock sent me this motherboard. I'm going to build a system around it. I've already got all the rest of the parts on the way. I'm going to reuse the 9950X3D2 from the AMD sent me because I already have that. But ultra low latency G-Skill memory. Gonna do that. Gonna do some Kioxia storage. Gonna build kind of a I don't know if it's gonna be a gaming machine. I don't know. We're gonna see. But this thing, it's got built-in 10 gigabit Ethernet, and it's the 10th anniversary of Tai Chi. So 24 plus 2 plus 1 phase design and 10 gigabit Ethernet. So I'm looking forward to doing another AM5 build based around this. It has 2 expansion slots. And I'm really resisting the temptation to throw a couple old V100s in there and just say, here's my machine that lives in a corner and is helping me do driver testing or USB 4 testing or whatever it happens to be this week. So, yeah, fun times. Other than that, this week it was fairly quiet. Maybe that's why it was productive. I don't know. I'm doing some forum upgrades too. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Helping Steve with his project. That went well. You'll have to wait and see for the details on that. Oh boy. Are you subscribed on Patreon and Flowplay? Because we probably won't need a legal defense fund. It's probably fine. I'm Wendell, this is Level 1 Linux. Thanks for watching and hanging out. If you have any questions or I missed anything, you can ask questions from week to week. I'm signing out and I'll see you in the forums.